All right, uranium friends, just did the big boards. Let's look at some of these smaller names. So Anfield, uh, URNM's been buying, right? I believe one of these ETFs is starting to hit them up. So Shooterang Mill, they've got the ability to process and whatnot. So I have a speculative position here. This is the monthly chart. So good work holding this 12 EMA monthly. It's also holding the 200-day moving average. Like to me, you know, anytime I will test the 200-day moving average, I should probably add a chunk. It's kind of the way I should be looking at it from here on in. With Anfield, a lot of dilution, uh, but whatever, even if the thing gets up to like starts testing this area, wow, that would be nifty. That's a double, so I'm keeping my eye on it. I do have a position. I do want to have more, but I'm stingy, because I'm just like, yeah, you see, this is all. When I see this, this is just, there's nobody trading this thing. This is algorithmic stuff. So it's almost like maybe just drop a stink bid in and hope it gets hit or whatever. But it's just, this is the type of play that the only way it works is that everybody notices it somehow for some reason. The space starts going crazy and it gets noticed, and that's when the liquidity will start coming in. So some volume there. Keeping an eye on it in position. That's all I can say. Bannerman. The Australian names have been doing great, but I'm going to assume that's the ASX because the ASX has been doing fairly well for a while. I know that at some point there was a reverse split on this thing. I'm trying to see. Yeah, so when we talk about Paladin right now is about to do a 1 for 10. Well, Bannerman did a 1 for 10, and it got smoked. So in a way, I'm hoping that Paladin does also because I wouldn't mind reloading. But we're on Bannerman. It's holding the 12 EMA. The weekly looks great. This is a nice, beautiful action here, right? Look at this action. It's great action. Testing its highs, recent highs from what? November 2021, I'm assuming, where all the bag holders were created chasing up here. So it's kind of getting back there. One would think that maybe some people are going to be wanting to get out at that point just to be happy to break even in the space that's been giving them hell, but it may end up being like one of the worst things you could do because no resistance, and then it could be off to the races. I am personally very light in Bannerman only because the ASX is difficult for me to play, but it looks good, and a significant drawdown or pullback will have me interested. Boss, is, one of the best charts in the space. There's no question about it, right? Even these and the fundamental guys are just saying honeymoon's not going to do what everybody thinks it's going to do. Well, the chart and the price action, the buyers are telling me something completely different. So I'm not going to listen to some proven reserves dude who thinks that it's overvalued. I'm going to listen to the price action. So the price action boss still always has been for a long time one of the strongest names in the space, continuing to do so. Base load, piece of dung load, crap load, whatever you want to call it. It's black dirt breakdown, really. And just, hovering down at the lows. Nothing good about this company, the way this chart is. Fundamentally, I don't know much about it, but I can just tell you it's garbage, right? So I have a very, very small position. I have no intentions of doing anything with it unless something changes. Fundamentally or technically for that matter. There's a little bit of work here going. At least it took out this EQ, but it lost it again. So it's still just sideways of nothingness. Canalaska, I did a video on this too by request. I have yet to get involved with it. I know I was at some point and I did sell. It was a decent trade, but like someone said, Canalaska does this, right? Gets these big bars and some action and goes, right? Gets these nice runs and just gives most of it back. Nice run, gives a lot of it back. Nice run, gives most of it back. Nice run, let's see if it gives most of it back. That's the way I'm looking at Count Alaska. Nothing special. Deep yellow. Yeah, deep yellow is looking fine as well. You know, the AXS is it's been doing well. So deep yellow is, you know, hovering around its all-time highs. Another great chart, right? So just keeping an eye on it. I'm in a better position here than I am in Bannerman at the moment. Probably change at some point. Elevate. I know that Downs talks about Elevate, I think, a lot. And I think he says something to the effect of that their prices, it's undervalued compared to what their assets are. But I don't know. The chart's telling you something different, right? So it's just sideways forever. Dead money since the life of the stock, really. And it really just hasn't done much. So it's dead money. So unless you traded this a little bit, depending on where you entered, you could be underwater. Right? So Elevate, nothing special. Fishing, they did have a financing. That's what caused this drawdown here. I added to my position a little bit. I do trade this one a little bit more often, believe it or not. So you know, when I get these nice moves, I do trim. When I get these little drawdowns, but you know, I like to buy where institutions are buying. So the institutions are we're buying around here with the last private placement. I'll join that party, and I have, but not a lot. I keep these things pretty low because I just can't get out. If I need to get out of them, because everyone needs to get out of them, I'm not getting out. And if I do, it's going to be like decimating. So I manage my risk on stuff like this through position size. How everyone else does it, it's on them. Forum is a great example of a falling wedge bull break with follow through, right? So, and it's giving partial move. This is probably about a 50%, I would say. Just guessing. It's about a 50% give back so far. Yeah, right? So 50% give back. This is fib guys and swingers and whatnot are looking at this area now to be adding. Yeah, maybe. No true opinion on it yet. I'll just see how this chart plays out. Global. We'll go to TSX, right? Yeah. So the new Niger FUD, right? Where was it? Let's just get to it. Okay, so Niger FUD. I definitely bought a little bit here. Nothing crazy because this is where I did my buying on the original one. So I'm pretty still just in great shape on it. But it's just doing nothing. Global's got to get some financing. They got to get this whole coup figured out. It's likely dead money for a while, but the investor who understands their deposit, understands their CEO, understands their plan for the future, and believes that they're going to be a $10 stock and pay dividends, which I've heard people say. I guess they're just, you know, they're buying this weakness. You know, I would say that if it comes back down into this demand area is where I'll probably be hitting it again. Otherwise, I'm just going to stick with my relatively smaller position due to its risk. ISO, not much going on here, but not horrible, right? It's just sideways. So this is just another example of where you could be having a lot of dead money depending on your entries. So it pays to try to get good entries. That's all I can say. But ISO is just sideways action. You know, they're supposedly a pretty good deposit. Yada, yada, yada. Laramide? Yeah, I don't play these names at all, really. 200-day moving average. That would be kind of like the metric for this one. Peninsula. Dead money. I know that some loudmouths soothsayers that think they can tell the future. They know everything about the stock market. And they were taking positions up in here, and they are underwater. Maybe they're not retiring yet. Who knows? Dead money, in my opinion. Peninsula, I do have a position. It's a relatively smaller position, and it's underwater. But what am I going to do? Dump out of it? Maybe if the whole space goes nuts, maybe I can test these highs again and maybe get the hell out of there. Who knows? Sky Harbor, another one that I do trade. I do play this name. I don't know why, but it seems to be favorable for me. I'm definitely in a smaller position at the moment, right around this cost basis. So this 3130 area, whatever breaks down, I'm probably going to be. Maybe I'm just going to hang on to it, and if 22 goes, then I'm just going to be out and be done with this thing. But Sky Harbor does offer some trading opportunities again, and I do it small, so it's really no big deal to me. Western, everybody seems to like it. Near-term producer. I did post this recently. They've got some stuff going on. I don't really know rightly what kind of stuff they got going on, but I know they have a mill. We got this inverse head and shoulders, and it's starting to break out of the neckline, but this was quite the rejection. But this measured move targets these highs. So, and Western, as we all know, can move really fast, rip faces off in both directions when it wants to. So, not the most encouraging thing with this drawdown on the volume here, but it seems as though that if it gets in this range into this $1.30, let's just call it $1.40 to $1.20 range, usually has me as a buyer, but when it does come up here, I do take out. So I might just say I position up here. I'm going to take half out when it gets up here because I know it's probably going to do what Western does. So, some of the smaller names, this is why I like the big boards. This guy with this Swedish thing, still, just sideways action. I guess, if Sweden ever gets something going, this could be something, but not really, in my opinion. Appia, it just gets these whippy moves, but that's about it. All right, so not much to say. The big boards is where it's at. Just want to take a look at Bwxt because this thing is just a beast. Yeah, and it might have me interested. We'll see. And a lot of naval contracts. A lot of they're not a miner. They do the nuclear services and stuff, but it's just a beastly chart. And when it gets its move, it gets its move, and it's here. That's here. So what happens when it gets its move? These drawdowns, these comebacks to 26 EMA or the 200-day moving average. Those are buy signals, as far as I'm concerned, and the life of the stock tells you that. Let's see if I get anything from the monthly here. Typical, technical analysis 101, right? When you get these, for lack of a better term, these consolidation periods, right? And I'm sloppy with my drawing, but it's just so people can see. You break out of these consolidations like this. CCJ did it too, and we got one hell of a move on it. It can pay. I'm looking for this back test. So this 79, this $80 area, to me, I'll probably be interested in Bwxt, and I know they pay a dividend. Not bad. Like this CCJ move. The space did it. This consolidation here. So, you don't know, don't like, don't care about technical analysis, but some of these things, this is just when everybody says it's tightening up. This is what they're talking about. It's tightening up, right? So when things are tightening up, they can get you can get power out of them when they break. So these longer bases, it's a beautiful tightening base that we had in the space in general, right? And then it blew out. So keep an eye on those things. Start trying to do a little bit of charting and seeing what it reveals to you. Ask questions or whatever. Over and out.